How do I spend 80 hours on 20 seconds of animation? Well, okay, let's take it from the start. I'm going to make a short and sweet animation about the figure blowing a bubble out of bubblegum. It gets bigger and bigger until it pops all over them. They wipe it off and then it loops back to the start. No deep meaning in this one, fun for fun's sake, like bubblegum. A nice, simple animation. If only I didn't have the compulsion to make everything out of wood. So, I filmed some reference footage. It's a good starting point, but it's important to know when to ignore it as well. Now I begin drawing the animation. I won't get into the super specifics, but I animate in Adobe Fireworks because that's what I've drawn in for over 20 years. I don't draw keyframes, I just animate straight ahead, one frame after the other. But the reference footage helps with pacing. And I just move each shape that the figure is comprised of a couple degrees at a time until it looks, well, good. I'm not going to be able to tell you how to animate in a couple sentences, unfortunately. Once the animation is done, I add these green registration lines to all the frames, which will end up being cut out of the back of each frame as tiny trenches. These trenches then slot onto metal pins that have been fixed to the surface of wherever I'm shooting the animation. In short, it means I place each wooden frame exactly where it needs to be in the scene. You'll see later if you don't understand yet. After a lot more processing, I have all the designs ready to cut. Each of these square boards represents a 60cm square sheet of MDF. Off to the workshop. Cut the MDF down to size, stick it in the CNC machine, an X-Carve 1000, and now it can begin cutting. Each board takes about 3 hours to cut, and I don't even factor that into my 80 hours of work because I can go do something else whilst each board cuts. The bubblegum bubbles will actually be a separate piece of wood because I think that will look nice. But let's just make sure the connection method has the right tolerance. Okay, yeah, that fits nice. Carry on. Gather all the circles up. More circles cut. There, all the bubbles done. Now to get the figure frames cutting. So, this time I'm actually using a plotter to cut the stencils, because I gave myself tendinitis cutting the 536 stencils I used to make the Pisa animation a couple months back. And the doctor was like, yeah, that'll happen. I was out of action for 2 weeks. So I'm still going to cut other stencils by hand, but for the sake of my health and my longevity as an artist, animation stencils are probably going to be cut by this thing moving forward. Okay. All the wooden figure frames are cut. Bit of sanding. Bubbles too. Brush the dust off. Lay them out. And give them a coat of white spray paint. Into the drawers to keep them clean. Same for the figures too. Next day, all dry. Get the pink on. Put the figure frames in order. And now to spray the stencils. Spray adhesive on the back of each stencil to get a clean result. Put this one here for a second. Now to carefully line it up. Press it down. Nice light coats. And a quick blast of air from the hairdryer. Then repeat. And again. Beautiful. I do this over and over and over again. Now, a few days later, doing the light pink. Looks good, but I need to do the sides. I do the fiddly parts with a paintbrush. And simpler sections are masked off and sprayed wholesale. Now, to complete the translucent effect, the dark pink layers. Oh, that's beautiful. Lovely stuff. Let's make sure the dowels that connect the bubble to the figure still fit. Perfect. Oh, it's coming together. Okay, time to shoot everything. So here's the setup. Here's a Nikon Z7 with a 24 to 85mm lens. Figure looking good. Then a DJI Action 4 on top for a time lapse. Then the Nikon is tethered to this laptop, and here's the remote control. Bam. I can see the photo on the laptop, so then if I take another shot, I can flip through the photos and make sure everything looks good when I'm shooting the animation. Then this laptop has the digital version of the animation. The blue number is the bubble serial and the orange is the figure serial. So look, see, this frame is Z01. Here's some more figures in sequential order. Then a lot of bubbles, all with their own number too. Oh, and lots of dowels to connect the bubble to the figure. Okay, so here's that time lapse. After a day of shooting, I bring the photos into DaVinci Resolve, a video editing program, and put them all onto the timeline. I then mask myself into the scene to make it feel all a bit more alive. I do some colour grading too. I record some sound effects, like this sound is me blowing up a balloon, but I think it works for the bubblegum too. I also make my own music, so I come up with a little melody, add some drums and other stuff. And well, okay, look, let's finally watch all of the finished animation. There we go. Over 80 hours of work for 20 seconds of animation. If you enjoyed this animation and want to own a part of it, all the frames are now available on my store at panel.co.uk. The link is also in the description. And you can pick the exact figure you want, unless someone else picks it first. So, from the very centre of my heart, thank you so much for watching, and talk with you soon.